Hello, Statesmen parents. My name is Greg Johnson, and I'm one of the choir directors here at Fishers High School, and I have your children for choir period one. I wish we could be meeting in person so I could go over all of these things with you directly, but I still wanted to make sure that you got some information about the class, how we're organizing our curriculum for choir, and then a little bit about the extracurricular portions of the class as well. I've really enjoyed getting to know your amazing young men through virtual Zoom meetings, and look forward to meeting them in person soon when we get moved to our hybrid schedule. So a couple of things with the choir curriculum. First of all, we're not exactly sure what the year is going to look like in terms of live performances. Our goal is to get all of our students in choir, all 300 kids, on stage in a costume to sing and hopefully dance a little bit at our winter spectacular performance in December. And so we have canceled our fall concert, and we're going to really focus on right now developing vocal technique and music literacy skills to give them a really good foundation on singing techniques and also the basics of reading music. And we're going to connect that to some literature that we will be singing throughout the year. So VT is vocal technique. So each day in Zoom, we're going to be talking about body alignment and breath and tone, diction, different vocal techniques and how to improve the singing technique for each individual student during these virtual lessons. And then ML stands for music literacy, which we will be developing rhythmic understanding of rhythm patterns in the music. We'll also be focusing on solfege and pitch development. And all of that is laid out in the Canvas page for Statesmen. So when you go to your child's dashboard in Canvas, you will see the first period, Statesmen, beginning choir 2020. So the opening page, the home page that they see, I tried to make it very easy to navigate this, simple. I just have their virtual phase one schedule here about when we're Zooming each of those days, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. I put my office hours on there, a direct link to the Zoom meetings. And then I have kind of three buttons here. Our Statesman logo, if you click on that, it will take you to our Tiger Choir's website. And there's a lot of great information up here for you to follow along with parents. There's the calendar, there's information about each of the ensembles, there's information about Script, which is one of our programs that you can reduce your child's fees by participating in that. We have information about the choir deposits, which actually there were no choir deposits for Statesmen, so you don't have to worry about any payment until September. The Snap Race campaign that we're currently doing, and then you can also join our social media pages. We have Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram that you can link to right on that webpage. The other thing is our mask fundraiser. You can click on this and it will take you to, you can buy a Tiger Choir's mask and put your child's choir name, which would be Statesman up here if you would like. And those will be we'll be doing that campaign through the end of August. Okay, so the most important thing about Canvas is just making sure that you know where the information that they need for virtual learning is. The resources page is a page that will include vocal part recordings of me singing their part so they can practice on their own individually for like singing tests and performances. Eventually, we will be doing some choreography at some point this year, whether it's in December or in May for our spring show. There'll be choreography videos in that resource page. And then for the modules, that's probably the most important, at least for visual or for virtual learning, because that's where all of the lesson plans are. So when you click on modules, you will see that there is a lesson for each day that we've been in Zoom so far. We have a vocal technique assessment tomorrow. And you'll notice that some of these assignments, quote unquote, don't have any points. Those are just things where it's just participation that they're doing via Zoom. If there's a point value, like 10 points, there's two assignments here that they're doing. One was today on a sight reading factory assignment for like online sight reading, which you can see here. For Statesmen, they have some rhythm assignments they're doing online. And so they just needed to have created that account last week. And then you'll see there's two rhythm practice assignments, one today and one for next week in preparation for their rhythm assessment at the end of next week. So all of that information is laid out here. And then there is a vocal technique assessment this Thursday. So that's just something to be aware of in terms of if there are expectations for them to submit something or if it's just participation. You can determine that based on, again, those points. Okay, so that kind of takes you through the curricular aspects of the class. And when we get into hybrid schedule, it's going to look a little different. Half of the students will be in person with us, half of them will be at home. We're going to try to sync up some Zoom meetings so they can be a part of those rehearsals that we're having in person, even though they can join us on Zoom at home. And we'll also, of course, continue having that Canvas, the Canvas module updated. The Facebook we already talked about, the Tiger Choir's website we talked about. September 1st is when the first choir payment is due, and that is $50 due on September 1st. And there are 4 payments of $50 throughout the year, and that pays for their costume, for their music, for choreographers that we hire, for custom arrangements that we do for our winter spectacular performance, and so on. So that is something that you can pay online. You'll be getting an email from our Booster Club, our Tiger Choir Booster Club treasurer and our financial committee. And you can pay directly on that link if you would like to do it with a credit card, or you can just send a check made out to Tiger Choir Booster Club to P.O. Box 686, Fishers, Indiana 46038, which that address is right there, and I'll close this so you can see that clearly. But please do not send any payments to the choir at the school, because it's a lot of mail that we get here, and we needed all that money for choir to go to the Booster Club. And then, as I kind of mentioned a little bit briefly, the Snap Race fundraiser started last week, and it's going through the next 2.5 weeks. So far, we've raised $17,000, which is awesome. We want to try to get to 25, so we have about $8,000 to reach that goal left. And we will definitely reach that if every single kid puts in those 20 emails. So that was, again, an assignment that wasn't really points, but it was in Canvas on how to log in and make sure they get that account activated so that they can send out their emails and put the links on social media. Last thing, we have our first Choir Booster Club meeting where we will go through all this fundraising and performance schedules and everything in a lot more detail. We'll spend a lot more time going through everything and answer all of your questions. And so that is Wednesday, September 16th at 6 p.m. And we will let you know very soon, probably right after Labor Day, whether that's going to be in person meeting or if it's going to be something that we do on a Zoom, but we'll be live so you can ask questions. And finally, if you have any questions for me right now that you would like answered, you can email me at gsjohnson@hse.k12.in.us. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I'm super excited to get to know your young gentlemen and help them sing and see them in person soon for our hybrid schedule. Thanks so much for your support.